The Chicago Bulls have now lost their backup center, Zach Collins, after wrist surgery, who will be out at least up to 4 weeks. We're going to talk about it all and more right after this. What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today, y'all. And we got an update. Unfortunately, it is not a good one. Zach Collins underwent a successful wrist surgery, which is the good part of it. Successful wrist surgery for Zach Collins, but he will now be out up to, he'll be reevaluated in at least 4 weeks. That means that, the Bulls are going to be without their backup center. Zach Collins has been a really solid player since coming here to Chicago and has played a pretty good role with the Chicago Bulls. Now, luckily, Jalen Smith has looked more ready, and that's really good, is that Jalen Smith looks like, he may be ready to contribute for the Chicago Bulls team. But unfortunately, it does mean that the Bulls are going to be without Zach Collins for at least 4 weeks. Now, it is listed that he will be reevaluated in 4 weeks. So that means that it could go a little bit longer than that, if we're being 100% honest. Now, we'll see if he ends up hitting that. It could very well be that he's out for the 4 weeks and he's able to make that return shortly after that 4-week period. But there are some questions now in regards to Zach Collins and when he's going to make that return. Unfortunately, it's the next man up mentality. And I mean, that's just what it comes down to for this Bulls team. Billy Donovan has praised the depth of this team several times and talked about the depth that this team has. Now it's time to go out there and show it. It's time to go out there and show that you have this depth and that this depth is going to be something that you can trust. So Jalen Smith, a player that had been out of the rotation at times at the end of last season, came into last season as the backup center, but lost that role. Now it's going to be up to him to show that he can weather that storm for the Chicago Bulls this year and be that starting center for the backup center for this team. And the Bulls are going to, it sucks that they're going to now be losing some of the depth that they have. This was the Bulls team that has the most legitimate size under Billy Donovan's era. But it is what it is, man. And so you got to have the next man up mentality. But 4 weeks, if you're talking about in the grand scheme of things, it means that he can miss the first month to month and a half of the season. Let's say that it even goes 6 weeks. It still leaves him more than enough runway to come back and catch the rhythm, right? And the benefit of Zach Collins is that he's a player that it's easy for him to catch the flow of the game. He doesn't need a whole lot to be able to get up to speed, because what Zach Collins' role is, be solid on both sides of the ball, play tough defense, and then let your point guards do the work to get you the ball. And that's really all it needs to be. But for the players that were hoping for the fans that were hoping that Jalen Smith was going to get a big opportunity here, Jalen Smith has an opportunity now to show that he can be in that rotation consistently for the Chicago Bulls, and consistency is going to have to be the key. And so Vooch, who has had a fairly weak preseason, he's going to have to be on his P's and Q's. And now Jalen Smith is going to have to be also. And that just comes with the territory. So, we'll see what's going to happen there. We got Big Muss says, damn, I really like what Zach showed us in preseason as well. Yeah, I love what Zach showed us in preseason. But like I said, 4 weeks in the grand scheme of things, and keep in mind, we don't play basketball for almost a week, right? So you get almost a week of no basketball in there. Yeah, the Bulls' starting schedule was tough. The first 10 games for the Bulls is really tough. The first month for the Chicago Bulls is tough. So he's going to miss one of the toughest stretches for the Bulls to have, and we're not going to have him out there. But again, that just kind of comes with the territory. It's what happens. So you got to find a way to get over that. Shay says, if we didn't have bad luck, we wouldn't have luck at all. You're not wrong there, bro. Man, this ain't good. I mean, it sucks that the Bulls are getting hit with injury like they are. Yuki out for the season. The Bulls had to waive him because of him being out. We haven't had Kobe White all preseason. We have those injuries. Isaac Okoro had a knee thing that he missed last game with. So there's some questions already with injuries with this team. And like I said before, this team cannot afford to get out to too much of a slow start. They just can't. And so we'll see what happens. Precious just got released. Should we go after him or let Jalen step up for us? Well, that's actually a good question, but you got to keep in mind, Patch, is that the Bulls don't have any roster spots, and every one of our players on our main roster are fully guaranteed contracts. This isn't like the NFL where, you get a hardship well, the Bulls could get a hardship contract, but I think they would have to be projected to miss 30 games or more to get that, right? So the Bulls aren't going to get that. So unless Jerry Reinsdorf is going to be willing to pay a player to go away, and because the contract's fully guaranteed, you got to pay the full contract of that for them to go away. I doubt that is going to happen for the Bulls. I don't think they're going to go after somebody like Precious. So, but I mean, that is a good point. And if the Bulls were willing to do that, they could waive a two-way contract. So if Precious is willing to accept a two-way, and then because you can play up to 65 games on a two-way contract, they could do that. But I don't see Precious accepting a two-way contract. I think some team is going to be willing to give him something more, but we shall see. Stephen Gordon says right before the season too. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. This is literally right before the season. Stephen, the other one, says now we're stuck with Vooch for 35 minutes a game. Well, Vooch is going to play 32 minutes a game either way. But you have Jalen Smith there. You do have Lachlan Albrick if you do feel like you need to call somebody up for extra depth. You have that. Chris Montanez says Jalen Smith, Birdman hands. Take advantage of the opportunity. Like, all jokes aside, take advantage of that opportunity. And that's what the NBA is about. It's about using your opportunities to be something, man. And hopefully Jalen is ready and up to the task to do that, because if he is, there's opportunity here for Jalen. And Jalen Smith, the Bulls originally signed him to be their backup point guard. I think we have to all remember that. That is what they signed him for, is to come in here and to be the backup. So now he gets to have a chance to really go out there and do exactly what we signed him for. That's originally why we brought him here, is he was here to be our backup center. Now he gets to do that. If ain't and one thing, it's another. Hey, bro, when it rains, it pours. When it rains, it pours, bro. Season just about to start, man. Oh, my God. I mean, it's unfortunate, bro. That's all I can say. It's unfortunate. That sweatshirt is nice, Drip. I'm going to have to rob you. Well, this is just a T-shirt. This isn't even a sweatshirt. This is a T-shirt. So it's even more versatile than that. But you're going to have to roll up on me, and I got that thing on me if you try to take my shirt, my boy. That's why you need depth on your team. Sticks time to shine. Hey, you're right. And that is why depth is important in the NBA. And you've heard a lot of teams this offseason talk about depth. And even what Billy Donovan saying, he's willing to go, 10, 11 deep into the bench. Like, your depth is important. You got to have players that are willing and ready to step up to the bench. I know this crazy, but we could try Essengate at the 5. He's not ready for the 5. He's way too thin right now for the 5. Keep in mind, he's barely over 200 pounds. Now, I do think long-term, Noah Essengate is going to be a 4/5. I think he's going to be able to play some 5 minutes, but it's going to take some time. And he's already gained, I think like 5 pounds of muscle. But you're going to need, to me, you need to at least be, and this still makes you one of the lightest centers in the league. You need to be between 215, 218 to play center in the NBA. And even that is kind of stretching it for some people. But I think with Noah's length and his athleticism, that'll probably be a really good spot for him. If he was going to ever be a full-time center, you got to get up to at least 225. That puts you in Nick Claxton range, if I'm not mistaken, right? So, but right now, I just don't think Noah Essengate is ready to play the 5, personally. And, hey, if he does and I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But, I think that's something you got to look at. So Vucevic and Jalen Smith at the center spots. Yes, it's going to be Vooch and Jalen Smith at the center. If they play with pace, they should be straight. On another note, why they keep signing McClung for what? If they sign him, just play them. Well, first of all, he's there for the G League, so they do play him. He plays in the G League a lot. He's not meant to be. He's not an NBA level talent. He's not a player that can play at the NBA level. That's proven. But he's there to keep in mind, we had to waive Yuki because of injury, so he's more there to help replace Yuki's production. But that just is what it is. So. You got to take the good with the bad, bro. Like, it's unfortunate, but that's how, not every player that you sign is meant to be an NBA level player. And I know that people in the modern era and stuff are going to look at that and be like, what do you mean? But that's just the way it is. Not everybody is meant to be an NBA level player. Now, I would love if that was different, but it's just the reality of it. Not everybody's going to be an NBA level player. So you just got to deal with that. That is what it is. You just got to deal with the good and with the bad, man. No, not playing the 5, too much responsibility. Yeah, he's not playing the 5 right now. Like I said, I do think long term you can look at Noah Essengate to play some 5 minutes, but right now, no. Preston Chua got waived, and also Spencer Dinwiddie. What do you think about them guys, Haize? Well, we don't have roster spots for those guys, so you got to keep that in mind. Now, Precious may be willing to accept a 2-way contract. I don't even know if that's guaranteed, to be 100% honest with you. But Spencer Dinwiddie, I don't see that. He's probably going to chill until it's time. Like I said, I could be wrong on that too. I don't foresee that being the case, is that Spencer will take the two-way contract. Again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, right? But I just don't see that. All right, where we go? I lost my spot in the chat. Can Zach fall out of the rotation if Jalen or Noah play well enough? Well, Noah's not playing 5. If Jalen plays well enough, maybe. But I still think even Jalen isn't the type of center that Zach Collins is, right? Zach Collins is better in the pick and roll on both offense and defense. While Zach Collins isn't a great defender either, he's a better defender than Jalen Smith. So I don't know if Zach will lose his spot due to injury completely. But I think is that if Jalen performs well in this, it can maybe push him ahead of like a P. Will in the lineup once Zach Collins is back and stuff like that. Haize, do we have 3 centers? Not anymore with Zach going down. But yeah, we got Vooch, Jalen, and Zach Collins. Haize, I love you, man. You're my little brother, Shay. We what, 4 years, 5 years deep into this now? You're my little brother, and I mean that. Be careful with playing Ulbrich too many games, because if I'm not mistaken, when 2-way players are playing so many games, don't you have to turn their contract into a guarantee? Yes, but they can play 60. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it's 65 games. That's the majority of the season. So you have 65 games that you can get with playing Lachlan Ulbrich. Well, to be activated, right? So even if, let's say, Zach Collins does miss 4 weeks and you leave Lachlan Ulbrich activated all 4 of those weeks, that's 10 games. So it's not like it's a lot, right? So you still have 55 games ish after that. So they'll be fine with if they decide to activate Lachlan. Can a vet even take a 2-way? If so, the Lakers would have exploited that shift a while back. Yeah, I mean, think about this. We've had veterans on 2-way contracts. We've had veterans on 2-ways. So it's a choice. Now, usually a veteran's going to more so want to take a vet minimum contract because it gets them more money, but you can sign a vet to a G League contract. It's all about if they're willing to accept it. So, yeah, you can technically do that. Now, typically it doesn't happen a lot, but where you are now in the season where most teams have their roster pretty much finalized, even though there are some teams that do have non-guaranteed contracts to where they can waive that and then sign a guy like that. But, we'll see. We'll see. Losing Zach Hurt's team, high key. Hopefully Smith steps up, man. This is his opportunity. Yeah, take it. Like, Jalen's coming into the season, we didn't even know if Jalen was going to be in the rotation. Now, he had some games where he looked better than others, so maybe that gets him into there a little bit more. But, we'll see. Next man up. That's what it's all about. Everything is about the next man up mentality, bro. That's really what all this is about. It's about the next man up mentality. Can you play well enough to earn yourself? And listen, for an NBA player, especially like Zach Collins, with Jalen Smith, who, his career, say what you will, but his career hasn't necessarily been like, you look at where he was picked at, and while he's played some pretty solid minutes, he's never been a player that you look at on any roster he's been in. It's like, hey, this is a player that we can't afford to replace. And I'm not saying that he's going to do that here either in Chicago, but you got to take advantage of every opportunity that you have to earn yourself something. And he now has an opportunity to earn himself a role. Is he going to take advantage of it? We'll see, right? There's no guarantee to that, but we'll see. And I would love for him if he can, if Zach Collins can, I keep saying Zach, if Jalen Smith can come in here and play solidly, he has a chance to earn himself a role here on this team. Has a chance to do it. I'm not willing to say that it's guaranteed. I'm not willing to say that I bet my life on it, but he has a chance to earn that. And let's see what he does with it. That's what this is all about, is finding space and opportunity. And he has a chance to do that. Jerry says, hey, is this off topic, but I joined and added you on Discord. My name is, I think I added you back. I think I did. Listen, I'm old. I may have gotten distracted and seen something shiny and forgot to click accept. I'll go look after we finish this stream, brother. Can we see a Vooch trade if Collins comes back, plays well, and Jalen looks good again? Listen, it's not about that. It's about, is a team going to be willing to, like, if the Bulls had a trade for Vooch, Vooch would be gone. So I think at this point, and I think we saw this a little bit at last year's trade deadline, teams are no longer trading for veterans that are expiring contracts for real anymore. Not like they used to. You remember, like, even 5-6 years back, there'd be at least 2 or 3 vets on expiring contracts that were moved every trade deadline. You're not really seeing that a lot now. Teams are more so like, hey, we'll just wait till free agency hits and we'll get them without giving something up. So, I'm not saying that there's going to be something there, but, we'll see. What do you think about signing Bol is trash? No. If any, I'm going to tell y'all this right now. And this is not to say that y'all opinion has to match my opinion. Bol is trash. His stats are worse than P. Will. I've never seen somebody who people constantly want to talk about being an NBA player where the NBA is spoken. Bol is not a good basketball player in the NBA level. He's an amazing potential player, but that potential hasn't turned into shit. Bol's stats are worse than P. Will's, and y'all are tired of P. Will. I think sometimes I feel like as fans, we look at players because they haven't been here, and we ignore the same things that we condemn players that are on our roster for. Patrick Williams is a better defender than Bol, on-ball defender considerably. Go and look at the defensive stats. Bol, as long and tall as he is not a good rim protector. Patrick Williams has been a better rim protector, and we all know P. Will ain't no rim protector. So, no, I'm good on Bol. Keep that motherfucker up off my team. I'm good. We don't need no damn Bol. I'm good on that. I'm good on that. I'd much rather, like, all jokes aside, I'd much rather have Yuki Karamora playing backup center for us than Bol. Like, I'm good. Put Patrick Williams at small ball center over Bol. Bol is awful. He's not good. He's never made an impact. He's bad. He's a bad basketball player at the NBA level. I'm sure he can go overseas and dominate. Go put him in the China League. Let him play for the Guangdong Tigers. That motherfucker put up a triple-double every night. But in the NBA, no, we good on Bol. Every time Zach has a productive period, he gets injured, and it affects him. I hope he's able to just ball out, bro. I hope so, too. Like, I hope he's able to come back and just attack it and be perfectly fine. I don't think the Bulls need to sign anyone. Just need Zach back to help with the size depth of the Bulls. There's no need to panic as it stands right now, right? Like, it's going to be cool. Vooch is going to play 30-plus minutes anyway. And I do think if Zach Collins was healthy, you're probably going to see Vooch play more like 28-ish minutes and Zach Collins play about 18. But now, with Zach gone, I think you're probably going to see Vooch go back up to about 32 minutes and Jalen play about 14, 15 minutes, and we'll see what happens there. You have a better chance of having Bismack as your backup center than Bol. Like, I don't know why people cap for Bol so much. Like, Bol is not good. He's never been a good player. And listen, don't y'all talk about Mo Bamba either. If you bring up Mo Bamba, I'm gonna smack yo mama. Like stop that. Like let's stop that. Stop that bullshit. Let's stop the bullshit. Let's not do that. I just hate Jalen Smith stay behind the three-point line so much. Yeah, but he's been playing more 4 in preseason. As the center, he's going to have to get his ass in the paint, and I agree with you there. And hopefully with playing more center now, he'll get his ass in the paint. How are 122 people watching and only 22 likes? Are those real numbers, or does YouTube play a game? No. You know what it is? Motherfuckers be freeloading, bro. They be freeloading. Hit like on your way in. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed, by the way. Do that for me. Be a real one. All right. Appreciate y'all, man. But damn, I thought we were only going to do like a 15-minute episode. We're on 20 minutes. But for those that are just coming in, Zach Collins had successful wrist surgery today. He's going to be out. He's going to be reevaluated in 4 weeks. That could mean that he returns in the 4-week period, or it could mean he's reevaluated and he'll be out for a little while longer. So we'll see. Would you like Drummond back on? Drummond is signed actively to the 76ers. So unless we're going to trade for him, no. Now, I mean, theoretically, Drummond looked like he fell off last year. Like, if you watch Drummond play basketball last year, that fall off that so many people have been talking about that happened with with Vooch seems like it happened with Andre Drummond. Now, maybe it was just a down year, but we'll see. Anybody else questioning the training staff? Here's the thing. I need everybody to understand this. A medical staff and training staff can't stop injury. Like, I don't know what y'all think medical staffs do. Like, they're more, now, if a player has a setback in their recovery period, that's probably the medical staff. But there is no amount of anything that, like, what do you think they doing? Which doctordom? You think they're over there praying, doing African rain dances over people? That's not what the medical staff does. Like, there's little to nothing that a medical staff could do to stop that type of injury. Somebody slapped his wrist. You think they make an elastic wrist in that motherfucker? You think we taking DNA and skin samples from Mr. Fantastic so that we can put that in the wrist and nothing can hurt? By the way, has anybody ever thought about the fact that the way that Mr. Fantastic's powers work is that it basically means that his bones have to stretch? So if his bones stretch as well, he wouldn't be flimsy. Has anybody ever thought about that? Like, I'm just saying, it can't be both ways. Either his bones are stretching, and thus that means that his bones are also elastic, which means that when he's walking around not stretched out, he'll be walking like this, or the motherfucker don't got bones. You can't have it both ways. Has anybody really thought about how Mr. Fantastic's powers work? I'm concerned, is what I'm saying. I'm concerned. It makes you a little concerned that people don't think about the logic when they think about Mr. Fantastic's powers. I'm just saying. Think about it. It's one of those things that when you start thinking about, you be like, am I high? Because this don't make any sense. But nonetheless, it's 50 games on a two-way. I thought that they upped it. I thought that they changed it last year. Hold on, let me see. Because I believe they changed it recently. I think like over the last 2 years. Oh, you're right. It's up to 50 games. Did it used to be lower than that? Oh, 50 games is still a lot, though. 50 games is still a lot. Good call out on that, though, bro. Good call out. Haize on ESPN, all the Bulls players are way under measured. Julian Phillips is apparently 6. That's not even, that was bad. And they list P. Will at 6'6". Like, it's weird. Off topic, next year when D Rose gets his jersey retirement, I'm gonna cry. Like, it's this season. Like, this in a couple of, well, I guess it's technically next year because it's happening in, what is it, January? But I mean, it's only a few months away, bro. But all right, y'all. We're going to get ready to wrap it up. I thank y'all for tuning in, hanging out with me on a Saturday. Nonetheless, man, y'all are amazing. Y'all are the best ones out. Make sure you guys are following us at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and or voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, but that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See you right if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.